angles are important, as you said, as Vladi's going to set up for one of his own onto Canna and Myrwn. Getting involved in their lane, sure, complete doesn't connect, but at least the damage does.
Keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
I push, no flat. I'm ulting. Look, I have stopwatch, okay? I will dive. I have stopwatch.
Ahí tanque.
I call you. Ash.
Chuparla. Pasos de mierda. Vámonos.
Look, I call you.
Caliste. You win.
Acredita.
You win.
Go full on Besa.
Nice. I have no cover.
Go mid.
Nice flash,
Nice.
bro.
Welcome back to the LEC, where we have, of course, another matchup, which you're all ready and waiting to see here too. So, obviously, Karmine Corp did not end up winning this game, and I want to go back to basics as to one of the reasons they didn't. Because what happened, I think, in the play which I'm about to show you, is that Karmine Corp had good vision, but that made them make bad plays. Good vision doesn't always save you from doing that. So, as we set up this clip here, Atakan is being done by Karmine Corp. That's cool. Actually, what's very important, though, is what's about to happen on the bot side of the map. Let's play this and let's get into it a little bit more. Because what will happen is we see jungle and support starting up that Atakan is staying there. Let's pause it right now. This is a great place to pause it because Canna, I think, gets baited in and with a little bit of psychology to walk through bot side jungle. He has one control ward here, and he has another control ward on the other side of the jungle too. So he thinks that he is safe to walk through the bot side jungle. That obviously is not true. Good vision, but not a safe path. Let's go through this again. Stop right here, because he now knows he's in trouble. He doesn't have a flash. He needs to use his ultimate to get out of this position because Alvaro has walked onto his safe vision. Remember, good vision, but not actual safety. We'll play this through again, because Canna has now put his team into a very difficult set of decisions to make. He gets dove onto, and his team is not ready to support. As we keep going through this, obviously Supa forces very, very hard onto this, and the vision will come into this again just a little bit after this play, because as we pause this again just one more time, you'll notice the control wards are still here. You've lost your top laner, but Karmine Corp still want to make a play after this point. We'll keep playing this again because I think we've got one more thing to talk about on this same topic, which is why I really wanted to bring this up. MKOI, they call over their Aurora, which had died a little bit before this play, and another key moment has just happened. Pause it one more time and before we finish off this clip, because we saw a vision cone, used by Karmine Corp to go across the side of the jungle to clear out some vision. And I think Karmine Corp maybe think, well, we've just used that. We've got the safe vision, right? We can make a good play to make sure we can secure our own blue buff. At least we've just lost our top laner. We have to get something, and we'll play this clip out to completion. Now, as we realize, that's not the case. Vision does not save you from getting jumped on because you don't even have your AD carry here. I think Karmine Corp got set up by what really was good vision control and map setup in regards to how strong they were, and towards taking the Atakan felt very good, but I think they might have just baited themselves into uneven numbered fights and not really having the members of the play which they needed to have. Movistar KOI pounced very, very well on this and seized the opportunity to really snowball ahead in this game. Well, that was one of the key moments where I figured out in this game, but I'm sure the desk has a few others to go through as well, so take it away.
For me, what I want to go through, thank you so much, Nymaera, is the fact that coming back from first stand, the first thing that I've heard from Vladi and from Karmine Corp is international teams are so good at playing the map, are so good at unlocking opportunities, at playing to their win conditions. Guys, what was this then? What have we learned? What have we learned? But on the other side, I think about Elyoya, who said at the beginning of the day that this is something that they needed to be more meticulous about. And I feel like, well, MKOI did their homework here in game 2.
Does that.
Actually, I think they're really good at using this Talia and utilizing that ultimate. I think one of the first big plays that happened is that they were actually able to punish the KC bot lane quite frequently. They're putting them under pressure. And when you're playing into Ashe and Renata, which is usually one of those lanes who loves to be up near your tower, making sure that they put pressure on you, KC didn't really respect the map pressure that MKOI was able to put down on that bot lane.
Yeah, I do think Caliste had a bit of a stinker. This is like a matchup where you really want to bully as the Ashe. You want to build up a big lead, especially with the counter pick on support as well. You got the Renata, but instead did some bad trades and did some good roams from Jojopyun. They actually ended up falling behind, and at that point, it's like your Ashe is doing no damage, just getting dove upon every single team fight, and they just didn't have enough in the tank.
I will say, though, KC did find ways to come back into the game, but I think the play that Nymaera just broke down as well really just lost them that entire game. They had done a good job at crawling back into it, but when you just like randomly jump in and die again and again like that, you know, that's just going to lose you the game.
And it's been a lot of this, sadly. A lot of overextending, not playing around the vision that they have, and also a lot of good opportunities on the side of MKOI who were able to seize them. And this is their first win win of the split after losing 3 games. Are we convinced with what we've seen so far?
I mean, convinced, not yet, but I will say we're seeing some really good shines of light. I think Supa had a phenomenal performance on the Kaiser. His team fighting was simply just beautiful.
Yeah, I think Jojo, for me, looks the best on Taliyah. I think the key to success for this MKOI roster looks like you need Jojo on a mid laner that can perma move, impact the map, because he's not going to have like a stellar laning phase. And I don't feel like when he goes to something like the Azir or the Yone, that the team fights are really hitting how they should. But I feel like if he plays more kind of this like Niski style, enabling Elyoya, enabling the rest of the map, MKOI can find good success on both spot and top.
Yeah, and it requires a bit of selflessness as well, right? The fact that you don't have to be the carry every time. You have to find yourself in a position where you make your teammates shine. And I agree with you. I think Jojo did a phenomenal job at that in this game.
What are we looking at in game 3 then? MKOI being on blue side yet again.
I mean, I think
No, KC on blue side, sorry, I mean team.
KC bot lane are not that good at playing hard winning matchups. So I'd like them to just go more of a scaling route. And I do think that KC are trying these melee mids, but if you put Vladi on Viktor, it's kind of a cheat code. It was banned nearly all of first stand. So that's what I would expect for them to kind of try hard this last game.
Yeah, and I guess on MKOI, I kind of feel like it's just the opposite end of that, right? You want to be able to punish a KC bot lane who right now isn't looking too comfortable in the 2v2 setting. We are seeing a few mistakes, you know, Caliste just randomly getting hooked, having to use flash that early. That is something you can't do against, especially support like Alvaro, who's so good at finding those key moments. So I'm hoping we see more of that engage from MKOI.
A lot of takeaways from this game. So let's see which team makes the best use of it. Casters, take it to you. Take it to you.
Well, it is taken to us. It's close enough. Don't worry about it. Thank you very much, Laure, and to Tom Cruise's 2 stunt doubles who've joined us here today. We're going into our 3rd game, and Fearless, of course, 10 bans are off the table, 20, plus the following 10. You know the drill, as you were here for playoffs, I'm sure. Gwen is not going to be let through, and let's be real, I think Nefiri is just too risky as well. Someone's going to ban it. Probably KC, right?
What was that? Sorry, I was thinking about, I was thinking about the next bans. I was like, I was legit thinking, I was like, wait, what ban were you talking about? I was like, Gwen, Nefiri, bye.
About 5 seconds. Just
yeah. No, sorry. Yeah, I was still thinking about your Tom Cruise line. It was funny.
That's good. Nice one.
Okay. Jayce, very valuable. It's available. It's Canna. First pick, perhaps. I also like... Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Jayce. Cool. So, next picks then become... Ooh, it depends how much you value bot lane versus jungle.
Do you take away the Nidalee pick that is often paired up with the Jayce that we know Yike can play?
Ooh, I don't know.
I'm just going to send that there.
I like this a lot. Yeah, I think Pantheon's great. I think it's just a really strong early skirmisher. Oh, are they looking to take Vladi's Viktor away? I think this is smart. This is a very nice play. Just take him away from some of the comfort.
But he's emulating Zeka, and when I know Zeka from when he was in BLG and the LPL, that guy was a Galio main as well.
Okay.
So...
my instincts are not that he's going to go towards
mid?
Galio. If anything, he's probably going to go Corki or something.
You reckon?
Yeah, I mean, they might think about something like a Zyra. Oh, an early MF. That is surprising to me. Of all the AD carry champions they want to prioritize, I am surprised that they would want MF. I guess they're thinking about maybe they... See, because now I'm thinking like, are they thinking about a Mumu? Are they thinking about Leona is still available?
Surely the Nidalee's not too far off, right? They've just come from Korea. KC got the pass for it last.
I don't think it's going to be Nidalee, bro. But
look, a tree.
Now that's more like Yike.
That's still part of the jungle, part of the crew, part of the ship. I mean, Ivern does
but again,
the same. But
Ivern
you know what I mean?
MF is quite surprising to me. Yeah. Unless this is something like MF mid.
Wow, you are cooking.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like an answer into Viktor, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. The Rakan answer means that KOI don't have much of a front line. They do have decent engage, given they have Pantheon followed up with the Rakan. Of course, not amount of huge AoE utility, I guess you could argue. But both compositions, I would say, don't have a clear identity just yet, because when you think of Pantheon, you think of skirmishing, side laning, trying to look for early ganks, whereas when you think of Viktor, you think of scaling, more about the team fights. And then again, for KC, you've got Poke with the Jayce, with a little bit of team fight value, just an all-rounder, a top lane pick, just because of how safe he is to blind. I think the Siren ban makes a lot of sense because when you think about KOI, they are lacking a little bit in terms of frontline. And then you've also got scaling support with the Ivern, with a teamfight value coming in from the MF. So like, there's a lot of components right now without a very clear direction with what both teams want to do. Yeah. We'll see how the rest of the draft evolves. I like the Leona ban. We talked about it earlier, still being available. And I think it makes sense in this context, especially when playing against the Misfortune. But now, what is KC's engage? Because Alistair, Renata, Nautilus, and Leona are all gone.
Yeah, because things like Rom is disengaged, right? There's nice setup, good skirmishing, but not reliable frontline engage.
Okay, KOI are going mega scale.
They are indeed, but so no enchanter with the Sivir.
Now something like Orn could potentially have a lot of value into Jayce. It's not a great matchup, but just a little bit more of a frontline and an engage could make a lot of sense. We'll see what direction they end up going in, because there's, I mean, ultimately there are a lot of options for you as a top laner, especially when you are anticipating this Jayce top. It could be flexed into mid, but yeah, Hwei definitely makes sense in Vladi's wheelhouse as an answer into the mage. We saw this a lot from him. He had some great performances on it in winter. And now in terms of supports, I think the Rakan takeaway was just a really good one, especially with those bans alongside it.
Sorry, I'm just sitting here spitballing, but
no, I think that's fair. Maybe they go on Mumu support.
Oh yeah. Target player. I mean,
Nico is the other one.
Yeah, Nico's a really good option. Where is your engage? Elise.
Ooh, I mean, they're going.
That's pick. That's pick if I've ever seen it. But
with Ivern,
who sets up Misfortune on?
Oh, Malphite would be huge.
That feels so big.
I think Malphite's a really good pick here.
And into the Jayce lane as well.
Yeah.
Very good. Oh my God, KOI. I don't know, Betty.
You can't lane swap out of this one.
No, you can't. What do you want to say on it?
I mean, Gragas is fine, but I really wanted that Malphite. I really would have been happy with the Malphite. All right, Gragas is completely fine. A lot of disruption, a solid front line to complement your scaling. I don't think that the engage from KOI is the best, but it'll work. With the Sivir ultimate, with the Rakan, Pantheon ulti as well, they have a lot of tools to just start off the fight. KC though, I mean, so here's where I sit there and get a bit confused about this draft. Only because I think Elise, MF, very powerful 2 versus 2 lane, but I do agree with what the desk was saying that this bot lane hasn't demonstrated an ability to just snowball and run away with a winning bot lane 2 versus 2. Especially into Sivir with the spell shield, I think even setting up for that play is going to be harder. And then you're not even complementing that with an aggressive early game jungler. If it was Elise Pantheon, down in my head would be like, oh, okay, so the idea is to really go hard in the early game, really attack these lanes, try and get off the map in the mid game, and just look for fight after fight, especially around these neutrals, like contest the second grub spawn, contest the second dragon, fight using those first item spikes. But you've got an Ivern with Hwei, who are both champions that want to scale a little bit more. And so KC's draft seems like it doesn't synergize perfectly with what I like. But again, like, I didn't love KOI's draft in game 2, and they were able to win out in convincing fashion in the end, so I'm happy to be proven wrong.
I just think both elements is a lot to prove in this final game. KC versus KOI in your second day final game. The LEC is back, and now you can spam in the chat. Got a lot of songs. Were you in that car? You're in the car dancing to that.
Yeah, do you want to know the fun thing about that car?
What?
Is it was on a rig. We weren't actually driving.
No, don't say that. You're ruining it for me.
Yeah.
I really thought, like, I can't remember. I don't know if Medic was driving while doing that.
Dragos. And Dragos was really happy because he didn't have a license. So he was driving a car, but he...
Glad you said the rig thing first, not the license thing first, because then Dragos are getting in trouble. Now,
it was fun.
If you like LEC songs, no, I've already done it enough, but there's a whole barrel of them. I have
barrel.
a repeat.
Nice transition. Yeah. Top lane.
No, I am a man of transition.
I'm a little sad about that Malphite now.
I really am too.
I was really eager to see a Malphite long.
What does Misfortune
like,
Jayce
Misfortune would have been so sad.
Useless, yeah.
Like, oh, you ult, I ult. Like,
But even so, I mean, look, for KC, poke elements. You talk about, you know, Yike on this Ivern. What's it going to enhance in this game as much as something that has like a Tristana mid or an on-hit AD carry bot? KC, the 2v2, we need to see it excel successfully in already you can see trying to get that level 2 is going to be the first part of it. Ignite and Electrocute. Targamas is going to be all in, and I'm hoping we get Symbiotic Soul from him as well, especially since that movement speed buff and it being, I think, some of the strongest shoes right now, so that Elise can perma roam and deal with the Pantheon that's going to have a bit of pro.
Well, for the time being, that bot lane is looking to gain control very quickly.
Kill.
First 2 waves, you can see how they posture in the lane. Constantly looking for trades. Nice utilization of the Q from Caliste, and this is exactly the type of start that you want. Forcing the health bot out from Supa already, getting the level 2. Ivern looking to path towards the bot side of the map. Of course, starts top side, moves bot side, goes back to top side, picks up all those camps. And the great thing about Ivern is, because you clear your camps so quickly, you have a lot of downtime.
Yep.
Just kind of running around the map, a lot of opportunities to threaten things like dives. And while you don't have a huge amount of setup, if that Q does connect, when you synergize that with the Elise, a lot of single target CC coming from the KC squad means that should be easy to get the kill, assuming that that CC lands.
They got an insane pick. Hwei mixed into that as well from downtown with Jayce. Like, any CC connects in KC, one target is going to have its meal of it. Super good attempt at the spell shield, gets some health back, but then poked out by Electrocute from Targamas. So the KC, just kind of just put this forward, Vedi. I mean, I would assume that Viktor would have early lane, but I know that Hwei, once he gets an item, once he gets his mana sustain,
I mean,
really annoying.
They're both kind of just waiting for certain threshold points.
Yeah, okay.
And then yeah, they'll just become wave clear bots. But early on, Viktor is really annoying just because of how difficult it is to trade back against his E. Canna now the target, but the movement speed from his acceleration gate will take him to safety. And he is now happy camper, just still having to be cautious as both junglers going to meet in the top side river.
Myrwn now zones out, the wave pushing, and Canna just wants to reset it, get it into turret as soon as possible, and Myrwn's going to get tanked out and grasped out, and that's nice from Canna. So the wave pushes in, the poke landing as well means that Canna has options here.
I mean, Canna is a very good chase player, and just watching him play this lane is a really good example as to why. Myrwn, though, still doing a good job in farm, but practically dead even. The 14 gold lead that Canna has is the 1 CS that he has as an advantage over his lane opponent. Myrwn going to TP back to TP back to lane. Will likely lose about 2 minions, but now Targamas on the road.
Looking for the cocoon, lands it, and just jumps in. Good little spider bite as well, repels out, and Jojopyun is bursted. He's got TP himself as Vladi's already used it to come back.
So this wave going to quickly be pushed underneath the tower. Might lose a bit of farm off the back of this, but Jojo's been doing really well in the 1v1 matchup. Already built a very healthy lead with how aggressively he's been trading. He's going to come back.
Vedius going to say TP takes about 10 years. Lucky it's a cannon minion though.
Yep. Due to the TP changes that happened at the beginning of this year.
I do miss old TP, but I do like now that, you know, you can TP to a minion. If that minion dies, it can look very inty if you're like past a wave.
That's your favorite part, okay.
That is a favorite part.
Very classic play-by-play. But reminder that, so the thing about these winning lanes, which is what I appreciate about what the analyst desk was talking about, is that, like, look at the actual difference between the two AD carries. Like, Sivir is largely unfazed. You know, pretty much dead even in CS. But the wave is stacking, and they know that they'll be able to catch it. The resets quickly come through from Supa, but sure, he'll lose a couple creeps, but he's really not at any risk. And as long as KOI play patiently and don't allow Targamas to, like, just run rampant, running around, getting picks here, everywhere, getting kill after kill, then I think KOI is quite happy with the fact that eventually they'll get to a nice point in the game where they can look for these team fights, play the front to back. I guess it becomes a question of how easily can Supa play the team fights. Sivir, traditionally a fairly short-range AD carry. Well, Elyoya repeat gank in the top lane.
Oh, nice sidestep, Canna. Still gets bodied for a little bit, and Canna's going to try and take the 1v2 on. Elyoya spears up as we look towards mid. Targamas is back and just dead. Oh, whoopsie! I thought he could turn into a spider. Maybe he thought the same too.
Jojo with a huge outplay has to commit the flash, but he will draw first blood. Targamas looking to make things happen on the map. And his death has ripple effects as well, because not only does Jojo get a kill and accelerate the victory even more with the stacks, but on the bot side of the map, have a look. Caliste now being zoned away from farm, being threatened, allowing Supa and Alvaro to push in this wave and get another comfortable back. This bot lane duo that's supposed to find advantages, this Elise that's supposed to be running around the map finding picks, is not finding anything right now.
Not stopping there, movement speed given, Elyoya flashes in, but is there damage enough? Body slam, and now ulti sent out, Myrwn almost died. That caught me off guard, the damage from Canna was close as Yike tries to finish the job. He's got a trigger seed, he's got a bubble, the flash away from Myrwn, he buys time, but the Ivern doesn't do enough damage. Elyoya's just got the spear out. Another cued in with the trigger seed should be enough. Elyoya puts the shield up, Yike came in to save the day, but he's almost dead with a spear through his heart. Casey's early game is a disaster.
The healing from the Gragas, Elyoya getting a level up in the fight as well. KOI find 3 kills to start off game 3, and already things are looking disastrous for KC.
Oh man, I mean, on a whim that play, you can understand why Yike goes top there as bullet time just to get the push in, to get that bounce back, but 2 kills for Elyoya on this Pantheon jungle as we watch how top unfolded.
So the flash stun comes in from Elyoya, flash into the E from Myrwn, gets the barrel, and I mean, it's just an easy kill, well executed. Now, the W just used from Myrwn, he's waiting for it to come back up. Yike drops a wall over, and then he gets the healing from the W, and then crucially, look, level 5 for Elyoya. The auto attacks from Yike would have been enough to get the kill, and then there, he gets the level up, which means that then with the Q coming off cooldown, he has just enough mana to finish off the kill. Everything going just right. And the KOIs. The KOIs?
No, I like that, the KOIs.
Yeah, the KOIs, they're elated. The school of KOI,
good
ecstatic at the early success in this rivalry, which has been very one-sided this year in favor of KC.
Yep.
But KOI finally looking to change that narrative, especially after what is a very difficult weekend. G2 into KC. Remember, single round robin best of 3, which means that there won't be a rematch later in the split. It'll have to be playoffs that they meet again. So getting a win here is crucial if they want to be contesting for those top 3 spots.
With the KOI, you look at the rest of their schedule. As you said, yes, it is. Excuse me, just have to readjust. I was going to say, oh yes, no, it's G2. No, KOI have got Team Heretics later next week.
Yeah. So
a win here would also propel them up to really smack down a team that is still trying to find the development through their rookies and their solo lanes. So yeah, a big momentum shift. 700 gold lead is only the lead, but for KOI, again, that Pantheon is worth mentioning. We both had suspicions about the draft. We both said, you know, it feels like this draft is harder to work with. You already talked about the late game element of KOI too. Getting through the lanes, and seeing Jojo and Supa in good positions on top of that too. Not too shabby.
We'll see if KC can do anything to upend the advantage that KOI have been able to build for themselves. Supa continuing to farm away. But just look at how strong Jojo is. And I will say a big point of criticism from me and many others was Jojo's laning last split.
Yeah.
I think that he was a weak point for KOI. But to be fair, this series, I think he's played pretty well.
His lanes have been good. I mean, granted, he's been in 3 winning matchups each and every game.
Oh, hang on. There's the ulti.
It's a good response, isn't it? Canna's caught out. Explosive card, fantastic body slam on top of that Canna. His flash still isn't up and available, so the timing is perfecto. I can't say that in Spanish as Supa's getting dove now. Misfortune ult sent out. A flash is a whim. Supa dies. Caliste gets one back. First kill on the board for KC.
A much-needed kill for KC, as the timing was so unfortunate for Canna. Just as he TPs back into lane, KOI pants, and they secure themselves another kill on the top side. And we were just talking about how KC haven't been able to find any advantages on the bot side of the map, but then they go and get a 2v2 kill, accelerating Caliste and setting him up for success. You can see that first item quickly on its way soon. The recall going to come through, and there is the Bloodthirster looking to be secured.
Ivern, Yike going to find him. Good little setup at the trigger seed, and the ulti comes out straight away. The Calstorm doing damage and zoning off as Alvaro just jumps into a cocoon and almost dies. Severing Bolt is helping, but the burn almost does it itself. Alvaro I'm talking about is going to get away from Yike's auto attacks as Daisy comes out to say g'day, and KOI's just going to run away. But now a close call.
Flash is expended from Alvaro and Elyoya in that short exchange. KC definitely not down and out. Remember, that gold lead was much bigger, but they've been able to close the gap pretty quickly. They're finding opportunities where they can. And now we set up for the Dragon, being started off by KC. This will be their second of the game, their third objective of the game as well. Even though KOI have been finding kills, the early game control has largely gone in favor of KC.
Surprising, isn't it? I mean, Elyoya's just been in every lane, it feels like. Has he? He's been in top mainly. It does feel like top has been the rinse and repeat.
Because you know what, Myrwn? I feel like you've been left isolated for a long time. How about I throw a couple of ganks your way?
That is nice. I think Canna this series has had a lot of solo lane pressure consistently, and it's time that it's shifted. Now, 2 dragons, as you mentioned. Grubs respawning in a minute 15. Already pings are going down. You see Elyoya setting up for maybe something in top yet again. While KC are getting the push in bot. But Yike is actually clearing his bot side for now as well. So he's going to have to target his Raptor cans. See where he goes from there. Redemption also picked up, by the way. But first items, it's pretty common right now. As Kana's, he's fallen behind a little bit. He's only got a tunneler, that's about it.
Doing his best, considering the amount of pressure that's been thrown up towards the top side of the map. And the timing on that TP is just, we've all been there. You just come back to lane and you immediately die. That's it's a rough one, for sure. We've all been there.
We've all been.
Yeah. You especially. Like, there's actual footage of this, of you doing that. I've watched it, actually.
That's because I play volleyball, okay? Sometimes you got to in. This is how it works out.
I thought you were a Renekton one trick.
No, I moved from that because I feel like Renekton's Aragon's thing.
Oh, I see.
But see, volleyball, I played it before it was cool.
Right.
I just did the boring rod.
Pretty sure Baus did it before you, though, didn't he?
Well, he technically did, but if I didn't watch his streams before...
Also, didn't Adam literally play it at Worlds?
If I didn't watch or know of any of it before...
Ah, the classic, if I don't see you, you don't see me.
That's right. If a tree falls in the forest, did it break?
Yes.
Did it fall?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Glad we settled that debate.
Well, there's no facts, no proof.
Grubs are alive, and Yike is first on the objective. Targamas aware that there might be a sneaky Spartan sitting in the brush.
Yeah. But that's all 6 grubs?
Yep.
That's all 6, all 6 grubs and 2 drakes.
Yep.
KC are living up the objective game.
It's going to be a race to first tower now for the feats of strength. And really, it is in KC's favor, given the bot tower looks relatively low, the top tower as well. Oh, not 6 scrubs. All right. Elyoya did make his way up and will deny. I think KC will be content with the outcome of this, though.
They will. By the way, if you're sitting at home thinking, oh, no feats of strength, I'm going to be honest. Even though the feat of objectives already picked up, I think feats of strength don't mean much. Keep that between you and I, chat, as Canna and Yike are chasing down Myrwn. Not going to find the stun up, but Canna launches on hammers first as this makes it 2v2 Elyoya once again. He's always top lane. That ulti just targeted here is Yike is not taking enough to deal. He flashed away, but it's to a Chaos Storm. KOI looking to charge forward as the body slam flash. He's cute onto Canna with no mana. Myrwn dies, but with his dying breath, autos down. Targamas will take the shutdown. It's a 2-for-1 in top, while meanwhile through mid, Caliste has to flash away. On the hunt also popped as KOI is just not slowing down in this game.
KOI, knowing that their skirmish power is just that much stronger, trying to force these fights on the map. But remember, it was initiated by KC. Yike and Canna trying to get a collapse onto Myrwn, but the response from Elyoya's ultimate meant that he could join the fray, and with the arrival of Jojopyun, now Supa the target.
Yeah, he's waiting for spell shot. I believe it's up and available. Good save by Alvaro as Boomerang Blade comes out. Caliste in a bit of trouble now as well. PTA's already put out a rather lethal tempo. They're just breaking him apart. Great engagement and shut down to a Sivir at minute 15. It can't keep getting better for KOI.
I mean, Caliste was winning out in the straight-up 1v1, but then the knock-up came through from Alvaro. Supa created some distance, and he was able to connect the Q to secure another kill. The gold was even just a second ago, but scraps across the rift have resulted in KOI building a 1.7k gold lead, and with the Dragon spawning in 40 seconds, they have to set their sights on this objective.
I mean, again, feels like Canna's just going to trade off and get what he can. Gold for KC needed in this early game to mitigate.
Oh, the feats, though.
But the 0-3, yeah, whose feat is it going to be? Because even though, yes, beats go down, KOI bring their own version of their shoes, and Canna's in a lot of trouble. Chaos Storm comes down again. The Redemption not going to heal him up enough, and he just sent packing. Elyoya kill number 3, and that's 4 deaths for Canna. It's a good strategy. Just target Canna.
Really trying to limit what he's able to do on this Jayce pick, which he is so well known for. Hang on.
Not enough damage though, that's a rotation down.
Gotta run, Targamas.
Chunked out as Alvaro comes in, Gleaming Quills.
I mean, he's fast. That's the good news.
That is a good news. He's got Symbiotic Souls fully upgraded. And now he's gonna have to go back and heal up.
Oh, interesting. KOI actually abandoned the Dragon to try and contest the Herald.
Yeah.
Again, this Pantheon is a bit of a beast right now. 3-0-3, the Eclipse completed with the Tunneler as well. He's ready to scrap. He wants to fight. And KC have to respect that as the bot tower falls. Jojo becoming monstrous on the Viktor.
Oh yeah. As we said, it's been a relatively good series for him today. 2K stretches the lead with that turret going down as well. Elyoya starts the Dragon. This will be number 3 for KC. Trying to move to contest, and they've been good on objectives so far. It's been the one saving grace, but Alvaro now with the quickness sets up and finds himself a Caliste out of position. Elyoya jumps on his position. The spider comes down and dies. That's what you do. You step on them as the bullet time is hitting air. I think that just hit me. Canna running for his life. Jojo's found him though, and in front of the Dragon with the slow. Canna will not be re-entering. Elyoya set that play up beautifully, and KOI, a momentum-based team, is what you can take off this series.
They are just winning scrap after scrap, fight after fight, and they're going to get their first Dragon of the game. They're likely going to convert it into a tower as well.
Ow. As you said, turret equals 3.5k. Dragon sacking denied. And then our match of the week, KC here got caught out with Caliste with a great engage from Alvaro.
Alvaro locks onto his target, finds the knocker, and the follow-up there from Elyoya, the chain CC onto Caliste. Forced out of the fight immediately, and while they didn't get that kill, it was enough to set up for the rest of the kills that they converted into 2. And again, this is where we're starting to see, like, this Elise plus his Ivern, it's just a weird combination. They're not able to find picks in the straight up 5v5. This Elise, what she offers is so limited in contrast to Alvaro, whose target selection continues to be fantastic. He's also had a great series overall, and he's working with Elyoya fantastically. He's looking to replicate that right now as they get control over the topside river, setting up for the Herald.
But Vedi, you know, the problem with poke comps is if they fall behind and you have bruises on the other side, more health, more sustainability, more frontline, it's a nuisance. KC's poke ain't doing enough work, and I don't know, we got a Sivir, we got a Viktor on the other side of the rift. Some would say we are running out of time as more gold being given over, with Jojo getting his 2nd solo turret this game. Herald eventually drops to Elyoya's Pantheon. And that gold lead is still growing ever so nicely for KOI.
And we heard earlier in the day a bit of a hot take from Niski, where he said that his hot take is that KOI can make top 3.
I remember him saying that, true.
And he largely based that off his scrim experience. But it's nice to see some of the elements of what he was talking about. You know, one of the biggest criticisms that we had of them last bit was when they got leads, they threw them.
Yeah.
Right? They were impatient. They sometimes skipped steps on the setup, and they, from winning positions, they couldn't always convert that into victories. The other criticism we had was Jojo in the mid lane. His laning performances, the fact that he was solo killed by Camilo. There were all sorts of individual mistakes that I feel like we're already seeing significant improvements on. Yeah. So even though they had a difficult series against G2 yesterday, they still pushed them to 3 games. They're doing the same thing here again, and you can see the best of 3 format really benefiting KOI.
Can indeed, with some of that versatility as we watch top laners battle it out. But look at the positioning. Yike and Targamas trying to bait in, but on the hunt, it's going to give Alvaro some movement speed with quickness, following up. But a Pantheon to fly, and Elyoya looking for someone to die. It's Vladi with Chaos Storm erupting his body. An electronic feast for KOI. Running down 11-2, 21 minutes in the game, and KC unsafe. Bullet time clears the wave and buys some time. But Herald's there in front, and it's going to be an easy charge.
I'm loving the aggression from KOI. Flash from Jojo, flash from Supa, all to try and get themselves more kills. The gold lead continues to balloon. 5.6k the advantage now as they secure a tier 2 turret. And on the bot side of the map, KC, I mean, there's really not much that they can get.
I mean, this top lane is going to keep 1v1 explosive pellets. Nice little barrel chain from Myrwn. I think they're just going to bop away.
I feel like Myrwn's winning this.
I think Canna knows it. I was going to say, you know, our finals MVP from KC in this game, and you can say through the lanes, getting checked a little bit by Jojo, who's, again, having a good end of series.
I mean, it's a numbers advantage here. The flash of the wall from Supa, the flash commitment from Jojo as well. Nice play to shut down Vladi and set their sights on the tower. And I mean, little to really break down off the back of that as well. But it's just, again, like question marks around the comp coming through from KC. But also just the level of confidence that we're seeing from KOI is great to see. We'll see if they can maintain this momentum as really they're on track to win this game and get a much-needed win here in week 1.
I mean, surely 2.5k gold lead. I know it's an Ivern versus Pantheon, but still worth mentioning. The Viktor versus Hwei is more important to me as Jojo heading towards his Seeker's will become Zonya's. So that'll be the third item, while second item not even built for Vladi here. 13 to 15 is the EXP gap right now as well, about 11.5 if you count the bar. And next up, we got Rakan. Dragon, number 4, also coming up in 30 seconds. But KC just getting into their jungle right now is a watered struggle.
Looks like KC still want to contest this Rakan though. They have 4 members on the top side. Canna has the TP available. It's a dangerous objective to start. I don't really like it from KOI, but the good news is they've drawn them away from mid lane. And look at Supa, already chipping away at this tower. Caliste going to use his mobility to wander his way over.
They're going to teleport. Caliste is flashed down, making it rain for the time being. Supa takes some damage, spell shields out. Elyoya ulties in to try and save it, but he's gone too far. Canna with the punish as big as Alvaro helps out his jungler, but Canna's able to withstand for now. Myrwn also caught out. No! KOI, you can't do it again. 2 members dead. Picks from KC, and it does feel like KOI should not have thrown that away.
Oh, I mean,
no.
I think that they were not expecting the flash commitment from Caliste. As MF committing a flash over the wall to get that kill onto Supa, I mean, that may come back to bite him later, but ultimately it puts them on soul point. They get 2 kills off the back of it, and they slow the bleeding. They've been able to reduce a 1k gold deficit and give themselves a clear win condition of securing this Mountain Soul. And again, this flash, very ambitious, applies the slow onto Supa, allows Rakan to collapse in from top lane. And the idea is pretty good from KOI, but I guess they really didn't respect the ability of KC to collapse so quickly. That movement speed from MF can be quite deceptive.
Myrwn getting caught out as well. The cherry on top, Caliste gets another kill, and no response from KOI. As you said, the respect wasn't there, and KC bite down, minimizing 2,000 gold. That was the difference before the play. And as you said, with that Dragon now leading in 4 minutes 30 to a soul for KC, a little bit more breathing room, maybe a little bit more wiggle room as well. We have to start thinking seriously about what KC have to offer as we get towards this mid to late game. As KOI going in deep, Calista's found him. Onto Elyoya, Yike is there. Great little root caller as well. Elyoya flashes away. Yike has got him spiraling to spare. And right now the KOI stand will also be going down that spiral. A shutdown. Rakan's there. KOI are throwing away this lead.
They're going for Rakan. Baron is alive. I wonder if they're going to be ambitious and go for both objectives. Targamas going to try and keep Myrwn away. The mid tower will fall. You'll notice the Jojo pushing in the bot wave as well. He has teleport available.
Supa thinking about what he can do, maybe just getting the push in and then leaving. Early back from Vladi while Rakan's still going to be taken down. GA version given over to KC. Baron's also up, but they're not going to be that ambitious. Elyoya's up in 10 seconds, and Caliste just moves up, gets a turret, and pushes down. Canna, meanwhile, though, he's got the GA, remember. Jojo can't do too much more. Chaos Storm was launched.
I will say, I am surprised KC chose not to go for the Baron. Perhaps they thought that it was a greater risk, especially playing into Sivir and Vladi, and I would very much... Vladi, I'm so used to seeing Vladi on Viktor. I mean Jojo's Viktor.
Okay.
But yes, and in that case, it makes sense why that they would avoid the Baron and instead get the Rakan. Now with the GAs, they're in a much better position they were in before. The gold deficit was 5.8k. They've clawed that back to 3.6k. A lot of that deficit sitting in jungle and mid lane. But really, you just have to keep your eyes on the itemization. You can see a full item advantage in favor of Jojo over his counterpart mid laner. The jungle difference doesn't really that much because Yike is more of a support than anything else. So once he completes this next item, he's basically full build anyway. Everything else after that is just kind of a luxury item. But the AD carries is where we're really starting to see the difference. And Infinity Edge is so close for Caliste. Bit more gold, and with that item, he's really going to spike hard. And KOI very quickly losing control of this game.
Again, it doesn't feel like they should. Still 4K in the lead. It's not like they've lost everything, and it's still a 3-item Viktor, 3-item Sivir as well. One big team fight, and we're back. Looking at KOI in an honorable light once again, but KC getting cheeky with their GA still up and available. Now, we don't have an Rakan timer for you, but I can mention that it looks like it's 3/4 off a cooldown, so maybe another minute to go max before that disappears. And around Baron, that would just be the icing on top, because Dragon's up in a minute 30, but a lot of wiggle room again when you have Soul Point and Baron's up at the same time. You can threaten one, you can look at the other. Either way, team has to respect.
Yeah, I will say, I did cast the curse them a bit when we talked about how it's nice to see them having improved their ability to convert winning mid games into end games, and then
you
they
did say
throw
that.
their mid game. So okay, KOI haven't fixed all their problems, which is fine. But we'll see if they can look to close this one out. As you rightly said, their advantage is still significant. KC can't afford to rest on their laurels.
What are laurels?
I don't know, it's just an expression.
It's just like your legs or something, right?
So many words in the English language that I know what they mean, but I couldn't properly define them for you.
I thought Laurel was the name.
It is.
You know? I also, you know, Laurel just also sounds like a funny word. So I just always wondered, you know. We didn't have to go down that rabbit hole, you know, but...
Thank you. I'm grateful for that.
Thank you over that.
Dragon in 35 seconds.
Laurel's a good name for a dragon.
Vladi is very close to level 16 as well. A nice up level for him. Getting that 3rd point in the ultimate. The Cyrilda's Grudge finished for Canna as well. Getting a bit of a change on this patch.
Mega big as the Dawn Core as well for Yike. 3rd up.
Alvaro.
It's a great engage though. Ignore that. Casey have blown apart. Jojo's Chaos Storm takes the Rift and Supa takes Vladi. Yike running for his life. Elyoya flew in, but KOI back. 2 kills are big, and that solved conversation out the window.
Ruthless efficiency from Alvaro as his ultimate connects onto the 2 carries and executes them without room to breathe. Neither flash was used because they were not given the opportunity. The Dragon's Soul will be denied, and the Baron is now in the eyes of KOI.
Alvaro's Rakan looking clean this game. Say what you want to say about the down points of KOI, but everything else has been stellar. Holding the Dragon for now as Elyoya needs to move into position. I mean, an attempt to steal. Yike has a way in. Myrwn tries to body slam. Yike has flash available, but no steal. Smite secured. 2 dragons for KOI. And we are back to rooting the roost.
Okay, so a bit too much time on the Dragon, which means no Baron, but look at this engage. Flash into double charm, double knockup. The cleanse not going to help you when you're in the air like that. Then the burst comes through from the 2 carries. Alvaro really has had a great performance in this series. His Nautilus in game 2 was fantastic. His Rakan looking to do the same. As KOI now playing with more confidence, knowing that they're back in a winning position once more. Plenty of time until the threat of the Soul on the side of KC, and Jojo, look at this angle.
He is indeed playing it, but he's right into a bullet time as set up with the Chaos Storm zones off. Vladi, Jojo trying to get into his Alvaro once again, but he's interrupted. Great little root caller. KC are kiting back, and I'm worried here, but Myrwn brings my ward to naught. Yike survives for now. Hang on a minute, Elyoya is down, and Jojo's caught out as well. Yike's dead. In goes Alvaro again, but the poke's still there. KC are playing it back. A messy fight. KOI, what are you doing? KC just took every donation possible as Caliste walks back from Supa, the only left alive from the Weird Fish.
KC outplays them in the team fight as Supa is the last one standing. A heavy overcommitment from Jojo. Elyoya really not being given purchase in the fight, but crucially, Yike denying the engage from Alvaro. Created distance between the carries and the threats from KOI to allow for KC to turn the fight in their favor.
How did this happen? I'm just...
Again, so the flank from Jojo, I mean, on paper looks very promising, but the rest of the team is still quite far away. And then look, Alvaro tries to go for the engage, gets rooted by Yike, which was crucial. Canna is still safe from the backline. They're trying to funnel through this choke on Elyoya and Alvaro, and now the fight is spread apart. Supa and Myrwn are focusing so much time onto Targamas. They get that kill, but it doesn't matter because the regroup from KC allows them to play the front to back, and they're able to win out on the fight. Canna getting himself a triple kill. And this Jayce is getting monstrous.
Elyoya died with flash up and available, and I just watched Jojo take a blast cone into blue buff with 3 members of KC just sitting there. So a little bit antsy, and a KOI, it happens again. Baron's still up, remember, and KC are not out of this game. They have a support jungle. They've got Poke that's now very relevant as Canna's caught back up in the game and has a lead over his individual counterpart in Myrwn. That's an almost 4-item misfortune that will one-tap some of those carries as well. Vladi also now relevant in this game despite him being out of gold favor, but it's surprisingly competitive, Betty, for our final game of the series at 32.5 minutes. Baron is the only thing up until that dragon. I mean, 2 minutes spawn.
The surprising thing is, like, Elise really offers, like, nothing at this point of the game. The best thing that she can do is draw aggro. If they're focusing the Elise, then at least its resources don't spend on the carries. And KC is still finding ways to win out on these fights. I mean, you have to remember that the value of Ivern in the late game is the amount of utility and protection that you provide thanks to all the shielding. And with 3 items completed and the Dawn Court now finished for Yike, it's a lot of shielding that KOI are going to have to get through.
You got to remember as well, if Root Caller lands, if Web lands, and then Vladi has CC, Canna can jump in hammer form. Per individual target, KOI are never getting away. Teamfight feels to be the suction cup that KOI are hoping to attach to the wall with in this 3rd and final game.
I just think KOI are getting way too antsy in the way that they're approaching the fights.
They have ants in their pants.
It's very difficult for KC to just brute force their way into a space on the map. Daisy is your best utilization, and if KOI just focus the Daisy down, then again, like, face checking into Gragas, Rakan, Pantheon, it's a very difficult and scary thing to do, which is why you're seeing a lot of these situations where KC often don't have first setup on these objectives. They're always having to fight their way in. The good news for KC is they've stalled enough time for the next respawn of the Dragon, 40 seconds until a potential soul. Rapid fire cannon now finished for Caliste, equal in itemization to his counterpart AD carry. The mid laner now has the death cap for Vladi, so even though he found himself at a deficit pretty much this entire game, you cannot afford to underestimate the output of this mid laner. And some crucial mistakes from KOI have given an avenue for KC to come back into this game, and a single fight is all they need.
Well, again, remember, you're looking at those summoners. Important to note, again, Vladi will have his flash up in 3 seconds. Targamas close in about 30. Myrwn's angle to be studied right now. KC are moving into mid, unaware of where this guy is. Myrwn could make or break the game. Set up from Alvaro. They've caught out a spider. Stepped on his she. Now Myrwn again. Explosive cast doesn't work out. KC have found Alvaro as well as the ulti comes in, and KOI again. They're cooking too hard, too fast. Elyoya has to flash out, and KC have withstood. Supa gets poked out as well with Caliste auto. KOI have their jungler. Targamas might be dead, but no, Rakan is big.
The HP is way too low for KOI. They can't stick around here. Both Caliste and Vladi are full HP. They have the Ivern utility as well.
You can see Jojo's getting poked out. Vladi ever so relevant. The Eye of Sauron remains.
Caliste is right. Just focus Elyoya.
He can't stand into it. Elyoya, as you said, is just taken down. KC now with an opening to bring the series back. Dragon number 4. It's theirs. There's no smite. And KOI again. This game, it's like they've got butter on their fingers.
I mean, it turns out that the biggest strength that this Elise has is somehow mind gaming MKOI into forcing an engage on them. They used flash ult from Rakan on an Elise. But why? The Baron is now going to be started off, and KOI have just completely thrown this game away.
They have indeed. Let's be real with it. I mean, KC, there have been some fingertips, but it is very true. KOI mind controlled into now flipping an almost 6,500 lead. Into KC having 500.
Look at this. You're Rakan ulting onto Targamas of all people. He's definitely out of position, but you flash as well. And And it ends up being a trade of supports. The Gragas barrel doesn't connect. And look, the Chaos Storm now withers away. And all of KC are full HP. Meanwhile, Elyoya just gets one shot when he tries to engage. And Canna very close to losing his life. The Bouncing Blade's doing serious work. But this is what I'm saying. If KOI play it slower and the front to back, they have the damage. But they try so hard to force the fight. Then the extended fight, look at how strong Caliste is. These shields, he's not afraid of anything, and he makes the right call, shutting down the jungler. Now with Mountain Soul and Baron, they set their sights on winning out this series.
No other wave pressured right now. That's a free in a turret too. 1,500 to gold leading. Yes, gold is becoming more and more irrelevant, but remember, KC were that far behind that they just didn't have +3 item builds outside of Caliste. Vladi now gets to research his 4th item and put that into his inventory in 37 minutes. Gold is not irrelevant as Staff of Flowing Water for Vladi is going to be mega good on the level 16 Ivern. So a shield bot we have. Another Ivern game where we get to late game and we're about to see the value that he adds when these fights go on long enough.
I mean, it's one of those things where in my head, I feel like KOI's comp could still have won this.
I mean, I still think they
but
can,
I just feel like they haven't taken a single good fight since they like lost the topside exchange. And yeah, KC, like in the extended fight, it's almost impossible to win out like a war of attrition against Ivern. Look at the shield on Caliste, it's literally like the half size HP. And this is what I'm saying, like every time you trade HP, it's just always more advantageous for KC.
Yep. We've got sustain on Caliste as well. I mean, part of the shielding is the BT. He steps up, takes in it himself. This is the power of having someone like Canna, Yike by your side as well. One misstep and KOI are going to die here. Daisy follows through, number 7. Get in the ring. There's a pick off as Alvaro pulls up the quickness as well. KC though, take him in an instant. Canna comes in for a flank. Jojo drops the Chaos Storm, but look at Canna's setup. His damage now hurt. Runs through the end of the gravity field. The bullet time's down, but it won't matter. KC get another turret.
KC feel like an unstoppable force now, as KOI is forced to retreat to the safety of their base. Only a few towers remain.
Oh my god.
Caliste, look at how he walks up with confidence.
Yeah, nice strike. Does flash away though. Elyoya ultied in again. Not in a great spot. Explosive cast not great either. KOI is caught out front line. Targamas takes the kill as Canna is one-shotting almost into the rotation onto Jojopyun. Wait for the accelerated shock blast. He steps up to the turret too, and KC are now in the base. It's funny how much control KOI had in this game, yet KC's base stands and KOI's does not.
I mean, the last vestige of hope that KOI have is an Elder fight. If they can secure the Elder, I mean, it's an objective designed to end games. And so that could be the difference maker to allow them to win out. But I think with the strength that KC have right now, it's going to be near impossible to even approach that objective. I don't even know if KC have to run the risk of starting that objective. They've secured one inhibitor. They can set their sights on perhaps the top lane. And with the power and poke that they have, I mean, every time Elyoya goes in, he just melts.
Yeah. Elyoya has not had the greatest game on Pantheon. I'm going to be real with you. When we talk about this guy being...
I mean, his early game was fantastic.
His early game was fantastic. But you know what the real problem was? That Yike got 2 early dragons. They got 3 early dragons, pretty much. 5 grubs. The objective game definitely wasn't there for KOI. And you were talking about it early on. You're like, you know, for KC, it's a nice thing to sit on because it is a game-winning play. You know, this Mountain Dragon came in.
I mean, Mountain Soul with this comp as well, it's just crazy.
Yeah. I guess that's what matters is Yike's heart was in the right place. You know, even though killing dragons for some reason just feels wrong.
Now on Caliste as well. I don't know. I don't know how you win there.
Don't worry, I'll take you back, Betty, because we're about to see a 5-on-5. And look at Canna frontlining as well. Shock Blast doesn't connect. Elyoya thinking about if he pounces or not. He gets off the edge of night, but the bullet time hits Supa. He's on the hunt, has been popped. KOI get rooted in. Oh, nice from Vladi. Jojo gets poked out with Spiraling Despair. Severing Bolt almost in range, and KOI, the poke is now so real. They can't even walk near them. There is no 5v5.
They're being shepherded. The damage come. Oh my goodness, Myrwn down to 50.
Making it rain again, the Severing Bolt, and Daisy gets involved. 6 versus 5 ain't fair. Myrwn cannot play.
Canna is unstoppable. He was the focus of KOI's aggression in the early game, and he has come back with a vengeance. The Elder now on the table. There is no contest that will come through from KOI. And I feel like that with this, it will be the final nail in the coffin. KC weathered the storm. They repeatedly punished the mistakes. They navigated the team fights better than their opposition, and they will be rewarded for it. Elder secured for KC. And the Nexus will now be their next objective.
Or at least the Baron in the interim, right? If a fight is taken by MKOI, they will lose here and they will lose now. Myrwn's dead body is still there. Oh, consume it. Ah! Tastes like beer. All right, KC, quick Baron. And middle inhibitor with the pressure it still provides. It'd be easy to get up to the side lanes as well. This is what they don't tell you in League of Legends Rift School. How annoying it is to fight against Baron with a broken inhibitor mid versus Baron. They just don't tell you that. They don't prepare you.
Well, KOI are about to find out the hard way. KC, I mean, they literally have nothing to be afraid of.
Themselves, maybe.
They're so fed. I mean, and that might seem weird because we're 42 minutes in and everyone is full build, but Mountain Soul, Baron, Elder Dragon, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, watch. So he's going to hit the tower. 3 hits? Okay.
Oh, Vedius wrong. 4. Bullet time comes out again. Super chunk to half HP. Yike just zones off. Another inhibitor gone. Thank you, Mr. Red Bull, as Canna TP's in. This Baron power play won't last for long, will it? KC are running it down and in such a good way. KOI had this game in the palm of their hands, but now next time just hit by Caliste. Raw duty, this guy is on. Remember, they have a GA. Just on Caliste, he can run in again. Elyoya popped up by Daisy. Flush from Yike. No GA is necessary because it's a wipe. The blue wall somehow crumbled a bit in the early game, but it stands strong with their return after first stand.
It was a close one. Things were quickly falling apart for KC as the early game from KOI was looking monstrous. But a couple mistakes from KOI, a couple poor team fights, and KC was quick to punish. You can vote for your key player of the series, Canna, Yike, or Caliste, all very valid options. But what a nice comeback from KC.
It was nice, but KOI would be kicking themselves after that game. That was definitely theirs to win. And it feels rough when, again, we're talking about like the development, what Niski said at the start, like how this team is quite admirable, not only in scrims, but with their potential. KC, though, one mistake, as we said, and an easy win in the end. I definitely wouldn't call it easy, take that back. But I have to say...
I mean, KOI, here's the takeaway.
Please.
They've already pushed both finalists from Winter to the edge.
They have.
And I feel like that they've come very close, but close isn't enough. Because when we think about the third member of the top 3, Fnatic, while they're not fighting Fnatic next week, Fnatic will be that big other test for them that if they really want to contest those top 3, Fnatic will be the team that they need to beat.
Definitely will be. Fnatic right now, you know, my question is there, but that's just my question only. Talking a little bit about KC, I think Yike, fantastic. Canna again, just always nice to see. We got Jayce, what was the other game we got today? Do you remember?
I've completely forgotten. My brain is tired now.
That's okay. Yeah, mine is too. Mine is too. We got another game 3. It's okay. But I do feel like, you know, Yike is exciting in this team, right? Yike is one of the most exciting players. And Bessa. Okay, that was a good one. But Yike is one of the most exciting players I feel like in this team. Another reason why he's on the MVP list as well.
For sure.
I can see them preparing. That was unintentional as Sjokz and Yike is standing on stage. Standing by.
Thank you so much, Hysterics, indeed, with Yike here in the Marriott Bonvoy. Post-game check-in as KC gets their very first win back on European soil. And we were chatting a bit before, and Yike, you said, I don't know how we won this. Well, you're going to have to tell me.
Yeah, I mean, that was the weirdest game I think I've ever played. Like, the fact that we won this game being, like, in the state that we were, it was just, I don't know. I was just, during the game, I was thinking, like, I don't know what to do next week. Or, like, think about next week, you know. But we managed to win somehow. We did a good comeback, so I'm proud of us.
Yeah, when you talk about the state that we're in, the state that we're in, what do you mean by that? Do you feel like you guys are kind of, you're not ready because you didn't have a lot of time, you're still kind of recovering, or what are you implying with that?
I mean, for sure, we didn't have a lot of time. I think other teams had more time than us, but there's no excuse. I think we still have to play good, and I think, I mean, we won today, so we for sure played good. Some games worse than others, but yeah, I mean, mostly it's just the draft was just hard, right? We have Ivern, Elise, we have don't really have a tank for us, and it was just a hard game.
So where did it flip? Because of course you caught them out a couple of times, which helped. You crawled back the goal difference, but where was it where you realized, oh, our comp can actually win this now because we can poke them?
I mean, as soon as we started like hitting like Elise or my Qs, and we just like CC'd them into one shot with MF and Hwei, we realized that, oh, actually, we're not that weak, so we can kill them. We just have to make sure that they don't go on us first, and then we can win.
Okay, it's a great momentum win for KC. How has it been kind of coming from that high of first stand? I know the finals probably wasn't what you would have wanted, but overall, for us as fans, it was amazing to see you guys there. How are you carrying that into this spring?
Yeah, I mean, the whole first-time like journey is like amazing to see. Like going from 0-2 into finalist is nice. I'm sorry we couldn't win, but I think we learned a lot from that, and I think everyone gets more hope for Europe, which I think is very nice. Like there's more hope, and people can believe more in Europe because recently it's not been so good for Europe at internationals. So I'm very happy that we did it, and I think we learned a lot, and we can showcase it now in Europe.
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to yourself and your performance, I feel like you have a lot of good games, but sometimes you have the games that you're not too happy with. And I don't want to overstep here, but do you feel like consistency for you is something that you have to work on a bit?
Yeah, I mean, usually I was pretty good at being consistent, but this year, or like since first hand, I've been a bit inconsistent sometimes. So I have to be better at that. Like for example, today I had like a very good Lila game into a very bad Siriani game. So yeah, I just need to work more on my consistency.
Okay, well, we'll see indeed. I've been asking players about their hot takes for spring. It can be about anything you want, the meta, your team, other teams. Do you have a hot take?
Hot take. I think Vitality would be good to split.
Okay, that is a hot take.
I don't know if it's a hot take. Maybe it's not a hot take.
I mean,
sorry.
they won 2-0.
Yeah, they won.
It's okay, it can be a lukewarm take. That's okay. Vladi is with Reha over in PGL. Anything you want to say to them?
Well, have fun, and let's not talk about this draft.
Let's not talk. Well, maybe he has to. The coach does have to talk about it. Please talk about the draft.
I'm sorry.
Thank you so much, Yike. Congratulations, Casey. And let's kick it over to PGL.